Hello, this is my game treatment vlog for week 6. Um, Here's just a little mood board I threw together of what 2D towns usually look like from the side. The backgrounds are usually quite detailed, with the foregrounds being empty-ish to uh, make it clear what's happening on screen. Um, I gathered some assets and made a little mock-up of the town, what the town would look like. Um, so if I just get into it, I would like this feel where obviously the backgrounds are quite populated and detailed, and only minimal elements in the foreground. I'm not too jazzed of how this tree is taking up too much space. Might just scale it down or make it less prominent. But also, I don't like the feel of the foreground being completely empty. Um, as for the in-game assets, I went with some polygon asset packs of the Unity asset store, and then for the skybox, I uh, uh, got this free skybox extended shader that I quite like. It helps with like atmospheric effects and so on, because I'm not too versed in the shader graph, so being able to control the fog density and other atmospheric things from the inspector is quite nice for me. But moving on, if I go to my storyboard, um, I, I'm concentrating on the vertical slice of my game will be centered around this first peak in of the scale that we went through in class. So my primary event, the player gets their initial power. The secondary events feeding into it will be their initial trauma experience. They will get algophobia, the fear of physical pain. This will give them their ability to attack or to defend themselves. Um, Going into this basic power, it'll tutorialize the basic movement with this, unlocking the basic attack. Uh, will also introduce the fear build-up mechanic. As we move further, the character, with the secondary event linking the two primary events, the character hears about nearby area that might give him some clues on how to fix the situation. Here he'll be introduced to the first level. In the first level, it'll introduce them to basic enemies and how to fight, and teach them the rhythm of fighting. Um, this will become more clear when I go through how I want to construct my level. So just moving on for now. Um, Again, secondary event linking these two primary events would be characters gradually becoming more comfortable with exploring, and the characters. Fear rises again as the boss appears. The boss is more of a skill gate, making sure that the player has mastered all the movement and combat mechanics up to that point. Um, and as I said here, it'll have an emphasis on the mastery of the combat rhythm. So knowing when to attack, when to back off and dodge, when it's okay to heal. Um, Moving on, the second trauma experience will be arachnophobia, as this first boss is probably a giant spider, and from that they will get a high jump or a sorry, not arachnophobia. It will be a spider themed boss, but the fear he gets will be acrophobia, as he will be thrown into the air a couple times, causing him to have a trauma experience that will enable him to have a high or double jump. This traversal, gaining this traversal power is another main beat, and up until this point, that'll form my main game loop. It'll be exploring, getting a new power, getting used to the new power, mastering the new power, seeing how it affects combat, and then so on and so forth. Um, Moving on, the bonus idea that I would like to have for Vertical Slice is to have the level be re-explorable with the new power, meaning that there are new secrets in the area to find when the new power is unlocked. But mainly the path to the new level will be unlocked after defeating the boss, and that'll be the extent of the vertical slice. Um, Including this will be nice because it'll teach the player how gaining new traversal or combat mechanics changes how changes how the interaction areas happen that the character's already been through. At any point, however, if the character dies, they will unlock a trauma event that will give them thanatophobia, the fear of death. It's just a justification of the respawn system, as the character will drop their collected items where they died, and they have the opportunity to go collect it again. Moving on to this rough sketch of the first level layout, the player will start somewhere over here. There is the main intended path. These squares with the X's in are the main combat encounters. The first one will be a simple enemy with one attack. Nothing extreme, just to show the player how enemies telegraph their movements and how they should attack. The next two combat encounters will be enemies with a simple quirk, so one will jump, one will have a dash. And off to the left side, there will be a gated area that is only accessible with a double jump. A little secret here that's also only accessible with a double jump, and a optional path here in the middle that is only accessible with a later ability, signaling to the player that not only the ability that they gain here affects how this area changes, but even later abilities would affect how this area changes. Over here to the right, the intended direction of movement for the player, they will need to get an item from the left side of the map to proceed. This will teach them about also exploring to the left of the map, as the intended direction of movement of exploration isn't just necessarily left to right. Another small combat encounter with emphasis on the movement system. There will be ledges, and this enemy will be more mobile, forcing them to engage with the movement system. And at the end here on the right, there will be the boss encounter with that is the skill mastery test. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks.